It's always important for us to find the right people to provide support in all the areas where we are not able to provide expertise and support. And I-65 Consulting is absolutely one of those team members. Just been a fantastic partner. We get rave reviews every time one of our clients talks to her and talks to their firm. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm here today with Melinda Caughill, and I am really happy to have her on this interview with us. Medicare is one of the places that we find talking to people really creates a lot of, I guess the word is complexity as we're trying to navigate when in the world get started and what should I choose. But then also, I think, Melinda, I would love for you to talk to us today about specifically what happens when you keep working after you're age 65 and Medicare eligible, and when your employee has Medicare benefits available, or I'm sorry, health insurance benefits available for you. So what are some steps that you take at that point? And then if you decide, I'm ready to stop working, what are the cautions about navigating Medicare versus the employer plan versus what are they supposed to do at that point?
The first step of Medicare enrollment is always timing. That's always the first step. When do you fully enroll in Medicare? So when a person becomes eligible for Medicare at the age of 65, the biggest question is, do I enroll in Medicare fully right now? Do I partially enroll in Medicare, or do I fully delay? The marketing materials seniors get are just rife with warnings. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Tons of warnings about late enrollment penalties. If you don't get enrolled in Medicare now, you are going to face late enrollment penalties into the future. There's just a ton of that. So right out of the gate, through your mailbox, you are going to get all sorts of fear mongering. It's just kind of the name of the game from people who want to sell you a product as soon as possible. That's not ever what it should be based on. When it comes to, do you enroll in Medicare fully? Do you partially enroll or fully delay? There are 5 factors that people need to keep in mind. The first factor is Social Security benefits. Are you receiving Social Security benefits before the age of 65? If you are, Medicare enrollment is actually going to happen to you automatically. You don't have to keep Medicare Part B, as in boy, medical coverage, doctors, nurses, labs, surgeries. Part B has a monthly premium too. But you have to keep Medicare Part A hospital coverage. It's a requirement of receiving Social Security benefits. So first question, are you receiving Social Security benefits? If the answer is no, not yet, nothing is determined in the first step. You move to the second step. The second step of do you enroll or do you delay is employment status. Again, we now know that in this scenario, we are using, yes, I am actively working with health coverage through active employment as our status. When you are still actively working with health coverage, nothing is determined in this step either. So you move to the third step. The third step is employer size. Is your employer a large employer defined as 20 or more employees? Or is your employer a small employer with fewer than 20 employees? The direction you will go in is vastly different depending on the answer to this question. If you're working with a large employer, Part A enrollment, hospital coverage, premium free, is recommended, but not required. It's not required. That's a myth. That's a myth. It is only required if you are receiving Social Security benefits.
Mhm.
So Part A enrollment is recommended, but not required. Part B enrollment, if you plan to continue on the employer provided health coverage through the large employer, don't look at Part B, don't wink at it, don't shake hands, don't nod in its direction. You will be paying for Part B and potentially closing off the option later in life to get a Medigap policy. You'd have to learn about coverage to know exactly all the nuances that entails. That's a discussion for another time. But you can basically don't do Part B if you're on the large employer plan and plan to continue on employer provided health coverage. All right, so A enrollment recommended but not required. B enrollment, don't do it, don't look at it, nothing. All right, now small employer, we're having a totally different conversation. If you have active employment with health coverage at a small employer, less than 20 employees, you have to get enrolled in Medicare Part A and Part B. Sorry, no way around it. It's a requirement. Once you turn 65 with a small employer plan, Medicare becomes the primary payer. If you don't actively enroll in both Part A and Part B, nobody is going to pay your healthcare bills first. In the world of health insurance, your secondary coverage doesn't go, oh, you don't have health and coverage? Poor you. Here, let me pay the bills for you. No, nobody does that. So your secondary coverage is going to remain secondary coverage and effectively non-functional because you don't have a primary payer. So if you work for a small employer, sorry, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to get enrolled in Part A and Part B. Totally different conversation, right? All right. So
Right.
let's say, though, you are part of a large employer still. We have some recommendations, but not requirements. So we move to the fourth step. The fourth step is HSAs, health savings accounts. Are you making contributions to a health savings account? If you are, well, then we need to think about this very carefully because once you enroll in even Part A premium free hospital coverage, you have to stop making contributions to a health savings account. The question becomes, do you want premium free Part A extra hospital coverage at no additional cost? Or do you want to continue making contributions to your health savings account? Health savings accounts, in my mind, are the single best retirement account in existence. Tax never touches it. The money goes in tax-free. It grows tax-free. Have your financial advisor manage your HSA funds. And it comes out tax-free. Tax never touches this retirement fund. Notice I called it a retirement fund. That's what they are. But nobody thinks of health savings accounts like that. It's so sad. Anyway, if you are making contributions to a health savings account, do you want to continue getting those tax-free growth benefits? Or do you want Part A extra hospital coverage at no cost? Choose one or the other and choose wisely. Once you are enrolled in Part A, there is no off-ramp. One and done. All right. So let's say you're not really sure. So step 5 is ultimately comparing the cost and the quality of the health coverage to the employer provided coverage. Just because you don't have to get enrolled in Medicare does not mean you don't or shouldn't. You can always opt for Medicare once you turn 65. You don't have to lose your job. You don't have to quit. Nothing like that. You can choose Medicare at any time. So I am seeing more and more and more where employer provided coverage is gross. That's a technical term. It's gross.
Yeah.
It costs too much and the coverage is not good. They would get so much more bang for their buck fully moving to Medicare. You can choose to do that, even if you don't have to do that. So there you go. That is essentially the complex navigation of, do you fully enroll in Medicare? Do you partially enroll? Do you fully delay? Bottom line, It is always based on your unique needs. People love to say things like, everybody has to enroll in Part A when they turn 65. The only thing in Medicare that is true for everyone is nothing in Medicare is true for everyone. So that's my personal golden rule. Hold on to it, because whenever somebody spouts like, you have to be doing this, no, you don't. It's always based on your unique situation. Know your unique situation.
This is so critical. And again, because we are living longer, there's going to be a lot more involved in our healthcare as we live these longer lives, and we've got to find out the very best ways to pay for it. One last thing I wanted to ask you, if someone is leaving their employment, after 65, and just briefly, if they are a small group, so under 20 or the larger group, what is their timeline, or what is a mistake that you often see happen
Great
as they do
question.
this?
Great question. People here, when you work past the age of 65 and have employer provided coverage through active employment, notice I use all these words, but I use them very technically, very specifically, because it is nuanced. But when you work past and have employer provided coverage, you will qualify for what is called a special enrollment period. I always laugh with my clients. You're special. Now you have proof. So a special enrollment period means that you can get enrolled in Part B at any time with no late enrollment penalties or delays in coverage. Delays in coverage mean waiting for a specific open enrollment or general enrollment time period of the year. You can get enrolled next month. That's what it means. That being said, the mistakes I see people make are thinking, well, your special enrollment period can last for 8 months. So people think, well, there's no hurry for me to get enrolled in Medicare. But your health coverage is ending. Like, your health coverage through your employer is going to be done. So who cares when the special enrollment period allows you to take action until you're not going to have health coverage? So you want to take action as soon as you know when your health coverage will end, so that you can proactively trigger a special enrollment period. You can start it whenever you want to, rather than waiting for a loss of employer provided coverage or a loss of employment to trigger the special enrollment period automatically. You can proactively trigger it to ensure there are no gaps in health coverage for you. You can set Medicare up to 3 months before you want Medicare to begin. So if you know you're going to retire in April of 2027, you start getting enrolled in Medicare 3 months before. So you want to start Medicare enrollment January 1st, ideally. If you get laid off or lose your job unexpectedly, you take action absolutely as soon as you can. Medicare Part B coverage, B as in boy, B will be backdated to the first day of the month after your application is submitted, but it may take Social Security and Medicare for 6 weeks to process your application. But Part B coverage will be backdated to the date, the first day of the next month. Medicare coverages always begin on the first day of a month. They never begin October 15th or January 3rd. No, it's always the first day of the month. But please, please don't assume that just because your special enrollment period is a period that lasts 8 months, that there's no rush. No, a special enrollment period means you can get enrolled. It doesn't mean that your coverage will continue until the special enrollment period is done. No, that's not what we said. So always try to act with urgency. Plan when you can, and when you can't plan, then respond with quick action related to Medicare.
I have unfortunately seen people caught in that gap where they thought they were covered by one thing, they had not started the other, but it was really a bad financial situation. And there was no unwinding it. There was
Yep.
nothing that we could do. So I really appreciate that and appreciate your comments today. And I want to make sure that people have your website address and know that you exist because your consulting services are amazing and so badly needed. And I also wanted to say it's rare that you find someone with your level and your team's level of expertise that is not selling any products as well. So
Yep.
it's very pure advice and pure consulting.
Can I say one more thing though, too?
Yes.
It's organizations like Second 50 that allow me to keep the lights on because I don't know if you put it out there, but I work for your clients.
Yeah.
So if you choose Second 50 as your financial advisor and they choose you as a client because it's a two-way street. We want this to be, a mutually beneficial circumstance. But Second 50 clients get like the best of the best expert advice. Because I'm included.
Hey, it's a powerful network, right,
Right?
Melinda?
So it's a benefit you won't get with other financial advisors. You just won't.
Thank you so much, Melinda, for saying that. We really appreciate it and we love the teamwork.
I
Love
know.
having you as a resource.
I
So
know.
thank you so much for talking
Thank
to us
you.
today.